everyone. Welcome to the Raw Report, episode 32. I am your host, Jericho, along with my co-host, Bone Santana, the Bolivian Siberian, Andre P. Perez, and the Bronx Bomber X. And we are here in this special episode of the Raw Report, wrapping up week 6. Can you guys believe it? 6 weeks into the season, and what a week it's been. 2 complete upsets, all right, and one of them being the 49ers finally lose their undefeated streak along with the Eagles, okay, and San Francisco faced Cleveland to lose by 2 points, all right, 19-17 this Sunday. PJ Walker came in for an injured Deshaun Watson, and he faced a Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, in my opinion, got exposed out here. All right, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Somehow, PJ Walker throwing 2 picks, no touchdowns, still managed to win this one with the Cleveland Browns, and it's probably due to their special teams. What say you, fellas?
Yeah, I didn't expect San Fran to lose in that fashion. They could have had a game-winning kick, but he missed, I believe it was a 42-yarder or something like that, and it was probably one of the bigger upsets of the week. Obviously, San Fran being undefeated, and obviously they're not the only team that went down that was undefeated.
That's right. I mean, the Browns defense, if you were looking at your fantasy matchups, any wide receivers you had on the 49ers, their matchup was in red. The Browns were averaging less than 150 passing yards to opposing teams per week. So that definitely got exposed. Brock Purdy got exposed. He couldn't overcome that. The great quarterbacks, no matter the matchup, they still produce, and he didn't. So that's something to note. The Eagles got embarrassed by the Jets for the first time in franchise history. Win by your New York Jets. But yeah, the two juggernauts that could have gone lengthy to great lengths undefeated, lost to some average teams. Tough.
Trent Williams after the game said, "What happened? How can you explain the loss?" And he legit said, "Myles Garrett." I've never seen Trent Williams get thrown around like that. And I was watching those highlights, and Myles Garrett was just pushing this man aside with one arm like if it was nothing. Obviously, disrupting what the 49ers wanted to do. But Myles Garrett is definitely one of those game wreckers, like Khalil Mack, Aaron Donald. He's definitely somebody that if you don't game plan against, can obviously cause your team to lose. And as far as, like Philly goes, that was surprising too. The Jets secondary came away with 3 picks. Mind you, Sauce Gardner wasn't even playing. So yeah, that's something to look at for sure. Philly's gonna go through some walkthroughs, try to get shit tight because they got an offensive juggernaut coming up there to Philly. Hope y'all ready.
I know y'all ready. That's right. Yeah. Listen, Philly, it wasn't in the cards for Jalen Hurts. 3 picks. Every dog has his day, but nonetheless, A.J. Brown ended up putting stats. There's absolutely nothing I like about that 49er Cleveland game. That was a complete snooze fest. Everyone on that team did absolutely nothing from a fantasy standpoint. But the Eagles game, my Eagles ended up losing, man, to the goddamn Jets and Zach Wilson, the MILF Hunter. All right. It was terrible, bro. Without Sauce Gardner, the defense really stepped it up for them. 3 picks on Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown, though, came through, 7 reception, over 130 yards receiving, all right, in the air. So he did pretty good. Man, I don't like this loss for the Eagles, but I guess it had to happen, all right? We have a tough matchup this weekend against the Miami Dolphins. And you already know, Bones, we're sworn enemies this week, along with whatever bandwagon fans you have over there. And Philly's going to win, bro. I keep telling you, bro. You guys are going to get exposed
last week they were going to win?
Listen. The Jets have never been able to beat the Eagles in 50 years, okay? I think one time is allowed.
What a blemish. The current squad let down a tradition, never losing to the Jets. That's how I see it.
Guys, I think the Eagles are pretenders. I do not see them as contenders. I don't care.
Woo!
They are not the same team from last year. They're not like, you know what I mean? They could get their stats here and there, but they are not the same team special teams wise. Their kicker's not as good. There's more trouble in paradise. These 3 picks is just the tip of the iceberg for things to come.
Hey, I mentioned that on the pod. You know, previously the Eagles games, all their wins are much closer than the other 2 big teams, right? The other 2 being, you know, the Dolphins and the 49ers. Those margins of victories, you got the Eagles beating the Patriots by 5 points, but the Vikings by 6 points. Both teams trash. The Buccaneers by 14. That was the largest margin. The Commanders by 3 points. The Rams by less than 10 points, and then they just lost to the Jets. So I'm there with you, X. That's not a far-fetched idea and statement there. I know Jerry. I can see Jerry's fuming from here.
Excuse me. Jake Elliott is one of the best kickers in the league with an 88% accuracy rate all over the field. Okay, that's neither here nor there.
The facts.
We got the harder part of our schedule coming up.
Good
all right,
day.
Drake. The Commanders haven't done nothing. The Giants haven't done nothing. It's really me and Bones here, all right? 2 top teams, 5-1. Are you guys 5-1? Is that right? The Dolphins?
Well, like
I'm not
to reference my colleague, we're not pretending.
The Trojan horse here, in my opinion, or let's do this: pretenders and contenders, right? While we're on the subject, I think the true contenders right now coming out of the NFC is the Detroit Lions. Miraculously, they're also 5-1, and then they're one of the better teams in the entire NFL right now. So we got the Dolphins on one side, and we got who else is holding it down on the AFC? Kansas City.
Kansas City, your boy right here. Check it out, right here, Mr. Travis Kelce. Ever since he missed that week 1, and the news came out that he's dating the hot young pop star Taylor Swift, multi-Grammy award-winning artist out here. They are 5-0 since he's been back in the lineup. So I'm all Team Swifty out here. Let's go. They're back on top. They're playing well. Patrick Mahomes probably not lighting up the scoreboard, but the defense is playing a little bit better. A lot of unknowns in that wide receiver core. You got some weird names out there. Rashee Rice, right? Travis Kelce's the only big target out there, and you got these other guys stepping up. Sky Moore, Rashee Rice. We'll see how they pan out. Isaiah Pacheco's actually having a decent season too.
Oh, Pacheco's looking great out there.
He's looking nice.
Pacheco's stepping it up.
Yeah. He showed it in the Super Bowl that he could be relied upon.
Yeah, I like it. It's the Swifty effect out there in Kansas City.
In my opinion, there's four teams in the AFC that are worth noting so far, and it's Miami, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Jacksonville.
Ooh.
Right? I'm going to go with that because the Chargers, disappointment. Bengals, disappointment. Ravens, disappointment. Who else did they say that was going to be a good team in the AFC? The Jets, obviously, the Rodgers thing happened. But all those teams were supposed to be great. It was supposed to be a bloodbath. And half of them are disappointing. So I'm going to go with Miami, Kansas City, Buffalo, Jacksonville. In the NFC, I'm gonna go with San Fran, Philly, Detroit.
Let me get one.
And I believe that's
the name like 7 teams, bro. Who's a sleeper? Who's not? Give me one.
Detroit's a sleeper.
No, okay, I wouldn't even call them sleepers anymore, bro. They're 5-1, and their margins of victory are much larger than the Eagles, and they have the same record as the Eagles.
But they are a Trojan horse that nobody was expecting. You know what I mean? Nobody was expecting the Detroit Lions to start off 5-1.
Go back to the pod, man. I was saying Jared Goff, he's an above average quarterback. They got weapons out there. That David Montgomery pickup, barring, a long-term injury was great. Jahmyr Gibbs is just sitting there on the bench, but he's got a hamstring injury now. So, I don't know. I like them, bro. And their defense is stepping up. They used to get ran through in Motown, but they're popping off, man. I like the Lions.
I like them.
Somebody want to throw.
I got one more team.
Go ahead.
What?
I got one team, guys. And I know we're 6 weeks in. There's been enough evidence to say, who's the bottom of the league. But, the top of the league, we know who that is. It could be Kansas City, Buffalo. We know the usual suspects. But one of the teams that I like that, we could be sleeping on them, and they're at 500. They're 3-3. I'm going to say the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is a team. This is a team that's 3-3, and yeah, they could have started 2-3. They got a couple wins over some bad teams. Yet, I think Derek Carr is on a mission, and I am not a Derek Carr fan, but I think he can turn it around and manage it enough because I believe they have a great, not even good, they have a great defense. And I believe they have some weapons. Michael Thomas is back. Chris Olave is a threat, and they just got Kamara back. So let Derek Carr get another week healthy. I think they have a bye coming up. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's going to play this Sunday. He was out last Sunday. But if Derek Carr could get a couple wins going, and these guys could sneak into the playoffs, I think they can make some noise, just like a Jacksonville in the AFC. But I like the Saints.
Yeah, I gotta say that I think New Orleans has a great defense, but the offense needs to get it together. The plus here is that Kamara has come back out of his suspension. I just don't believe in Derek Carr, man. He was a bad quarterback in Oakland. He's a bad quarterback in New Orleans, all right? And the only thing that can save him is that marvelous defense. I've had New Orleans defense in multiple leagues out here this fantasy season. But I do agree they have a top 3 defense in their conference. And again, man, if they can get the offense clicking, I don't see why what X says here wouldn't come true here. One team that I want to throw out there is the Indianapolis Colts. All right, they're a 500 team as well. And they got their little weapons, man. They've been hanging in there. I think they can make a good run for like that 5th, 6th seed. And they can, compete with like Baltimore and the Texans, who have also done pretty decent. You know what I mean? They're definitely scoring points, but they're right there, man. They have the same total amount of points. Some of their defense isn't too great. I think Baltimore has a better defense out of those 3 teams. And we'll see, man. We'll see how that pans out in the AFC. But we know Miami and the Bills, Kansas City, the Jags, they gotta hold it down. You know what I mean? It's really like maybe like the 5th and 6th seeds that we're talking about here.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that AFC North, you were talking about the Ravens, not really being that much of a threat.
They're going to be a show.
I like, if it was sad to see this injury with Deshaun Watson, right? We don't know how long he's going to be out. We don't know the severity of it. But I was riding the Browns pretty big, prior to that injury. They pulled off a win with a backup quarterback. But the Steelers in that same conference, that everyone in that conference and that division is 500 or up. Right, so that division's a toss-up. Anybody could win that. The Steelers' defense is legit. That Steelers' defense. The Saints are great. The Steelers are excellent. So if they can get Kenny Pickett some help. Deontay Johnson's coming back. Najee Harris has to do something, but Jalen Warren's looking explosive back there. The Steelers could usurp the Ravens for that number 1 in that division.
So who would you say definitively right now that are complete pretenders in the AFC?
Pretenders? The Chargers, the Bengals, the Bills, right? And the reason why I say that is because in this league is all about windows, right? We know that in sports, teams have windows, right? And the Bills have been Super Bowl bound the last 3-4 seasons. It's always their year. This is the year they're gonna get over the hump. How many more years is it gonna be your year, right? Like, and I'm not dismissing them because they are one hell of a team. Like as long as Josh Allen is still manning that offense, they're a threat. But I just believe at the end of the day, it's just not it for them, so they get my stamp of pretenders as far as that goes.
Bengals? Okay, Bengals.
And is that due more to injury or play? Because the Bills they've been pretty healthy for the most part, but they've been falling on flat on their face. Jacksonville whooped them good out there in London, right? They have 2 losses by a large margin. So, that's why I named them. I think the Bengals will do more to injury.
Okay, I'm not mad at that pick. You know, I picked Joe Burrow in one of my fantasy leagues along with T. Higgins, and they've really come up short. Joe Burrow took the bye week off. He said that he rested his mind and his body. Like, ain't nobody want to hear that, man. He really
I
came
need
out
his
flat.
25 points.
He really came out flat to start the year. Let me tell you.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you something.
He had
absolutely.
that calf injury. They downplayed it all. You know, once it was shown, we all saw that video of him in that drill. And they were like, "No, he'll be fine. He'll start. He's gonna start." And then leading up to it, there were still more questions than answers.
Right.
And he's been playing through it. He looks a little bit stronger there, but the rest of that offense is just not there, man.
Nope.
Besides Jamar Chase, who popped off,
That's it. That's it.
you know, T. Higgins not doing anything. Joe
Where's Joe
Mixon,
Mixon? Where's Joe Mixon?
nothing. You know, all these opportunities. You know, it's supposed to be a bell cow back, doing
Nope.
absolute trash.
What's their record? 2-4?
3-3.
3-3.
Yeah, but they're not scoring points when they need to. They have 100 points scored in 6 weeks versus 127 points scored against. So that's not how you win games. So
I don't want to do the Giants. Oh man, what's the Giants spread?
Listen. I'm gonna throw the Dallas Cowboys under the bus here. Those
you don't
filthy,
want to know, dog. You don't want to
not
know.
nose having Dallas Cowboys. All right, I'm gonna put the Commanders over them. As a matter of fact, I think they're gonna sneak past the Dallas Cowboys and actually give more competition to the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. They're 4-2. They're 600 average. All right, but they have as many points scored as they have had scored on them. So their defense isn't doing too great. And I definitely think that they are pretenders, guys. Their defense, I don't think this is gonna hold off much longer before the losses start coming in. But I
For
do
who?
think the Washington Commanders can turn things around. All right, so let's see how it goes.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. You've been hanging out with me too much, man.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
all those
saying.
grandma
You've been
years, you
hanging out
keep
with me
fucking
too
beating
much.
me.
No, but I do
I,
think my pick for pretenders are the Cowboys. Yeah, they had a great win yesterday. If you look at sports betting history, they always cover the spread after a loss the last 8 straight times. So
Ooh.
picking
wow.
the Cowboys was a smart bet. If any of you gamblers out there were gambling some money. But the Commanders, they need to fix that secondary, giving up way too many points. Sam Howell has 6 games this season under his belt. Some great, some not so great, but for fantasy purposes, he's out there scoring points.
Yep.
If you need a streaming quarterback, he's up there, top 3 in the streaming services provided.
Yeah, none of y'all pick him up because I already tried to get him in the league. So relax.
Yeah, Jerry, can you block everybody's access? Let me pick him up.
Listen,
Yeah, I need a
so
quarterback because Burrow's on the bench.
listen, guys. So it brings us to our next subject here. Will Tua be MVP? Right now, he's leading the league in yards with 1,876 yards thrown. And he's tied for first on touchdowns right now. I believe it's with Patty. So, guys, is Tua the next MVP of this NFL season?
Listen to me, ladies. This is coming from a Dolphin fan, okay?
No,
And I want to say, not as of yet. Not as of yet. I need a statement game from Tua, right? That that shows you I'm here.
coming
I'm
up.
here.
It's
I'm
coming
here,
up.
and I'm here, and it's time. It's now. It's now. And I believe if he gets a win out in Philly on the road on Sunday night, then he would be my clear cut favorite.
No. I like Tua, but I just called Philly some pretenders. So I think he's going to have to do more than beat Philly. But we have a long season left, guys. There's a lot of football left to be played. We talk shit about the Bengals, but I just realized they're 3-3. It could be worse.
Yeah, but for now, who would be your MVP favorite?
No,
for
right
now?
now,
For
right
now,
now,
with the sample size that we got of 6 weeks so far,
right now,
Listen.
I myself
Jalen-
don't want to put Tua there. I don't want to put Tua there. I would say, unfortunately, I would have to go with maybe with Patty. Even though the Chiefs haven't done anything dazzling, right? They lost to the Lions and then they've strung 5 wins in a row. right? Like reigning champions are supposed to do. So because of that, I just give him the slight edge because he is reigning champion. You got to show like respect, like when it's due. I need Tua to have that statement game, and if it happens against Philly, then he jumps him, in my opinion.
Brock Purdy let's not forget about Josh Allen.
Yeah. Josh Allen
Has
is
he
up
impressed
there.
you? Has he impressed you really? Him and
beat
Herbert
Tua.
have the most.
He beat Tua.
He had
the whole
like
team.
a couple
The whole
of
team
beat the shit out of Tua.
games. Yeah, I think he had a 4-touchdown game and rushed for a touchdown that game.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns in total. But him and Herbert lead the league in turnovers in the fourth quarter. That's MVP worthy to you,
bro. He beat Tua.
Look at the records, bro.
Listen. I know my pick is gonna surprise you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out there Kirk Cousins.
Oh wow, that was a good win he had though. I'm not mad.
Kirk Cousins, guys.
Hold on. Can I
14 touchdowns, 4 picks. He hasn't been able to win games, but statistically, he's up there, guys. He's tied with Tua first in touchdowns, 1,600 yards, 4 picks. He got less picks than Tua. He's been sacked more times. He's on a losing team, right? Justin Jefferson is out. They don't really have a running game like that. I don't know, man. I agree too with Josh Allen. Don't dismiss him, but Kirk Cousins is balling out low key, guys, and nobody's talking about it.
Okay. This is my face when you mentioned that bum. If you ever bring up that man's name again, I swear I'm leaving. That said,
Jerry, did you forget that his former franchise quarterback for the Redskins was Kirk Cousins?
That's exactly why I said
they didn't want to pay him.
I want him to envy Minnesota.
But that said, I mean, I'm picking that dark horse named Jared Goff. I'm telling you, man, his odds keep getting better week by week. He's getting the wins. He's throwing TDs. They're getting better week by week. It's not flashy, but if that team ends up first overall in the NFC, don't be surprised. Remember, it's a regular season award.
No, let's do this. Who's your non-quarterback MVP? Tyreek?
Yeah.
Yes. Easy.
Tyreek.
Over McCaffrey.
I would love to say McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey is number 2. But he just got hurt, so he may be out. Tyreek hasn't been hurt. But Christian McCaffrey is that offense. He bails out Brock Purdy, makes him look good with those short dump offs.
Every play,
bro. That's why I never bought on the Brock Purdy MVP hype. I'm like, bro. But now that you said that, it's Tyreek, bro. It's gotta be Tyreek. Like he is being utilized like no other weapon in the league aside from McCaffrey. It's Tyreek and McCaffrey. But Tyreek for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Joe Burrow comes back into great form, Jamar Chase is up there too. He could be up there.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's historically known to finish the year strong. So I won't be surprised if he ends with like 34 touchdowns, 12 picks.
Wow,
he'll have like but those are the years that he has. He'll start off weak, and then he'll just end up with like 34. Like he'll have like a Tony Romo year.
Do you have him on your team, X? It sounds like you want to trade him away for a high quality asset.
I would be looking to do so. So he is on the block officially.
You gonna let this collusion go down?
Let me bring it out one more time. All right,
guys. So before we get out of here, for my gambling folks,
so it was a wild week. We had a lot of ups and downs. The Miami game, it helped us out a lot. We love Miami. They that's probably the easiest game of the week to bet, but it was tough for the people who bet with the Niners and people who bet with the Eagles. But it was a lot of unders, as you mentioned, more unders than ever historically. And we're looking forward to next week. We're gonna have a better week, and we're gonna bet on the Dolphins. That's what we're doing. We're betting on the Dolphins at Philly.
Yeah, man. I'm looking at these matches.
Damn right.
I'm looking at these matches, and the Dolphins-Panthers match, the Jaguars-Colts, and I think that might be it. That might be it, bro. For who covered the over. Every other match, 8-19 Broncos Chiefs, 13-20 Saints and Texans, Vikings Bears 19-13, Patriots Raiders 17-21. It's a historic under. So don't automatically bet the over. All right. It was an anomaly, but the way the week ended with the Cowboys reminding the Chargers who they are by losing last minute by some boneheaded plays. It was a good end. It was just old fashioned Chargers football.
Yeah, they're calling Herbert a fraud.
He is.
They picked him over Tua.
They're calling him a social media quarterback.
Yo, they call him a fraud. He is. That needs to go viral. Jerry, gotta cut that, bro.
It doesn't matter, guys, because he be putting up fantasy football numbers and he be getting me W's. So
hey,
it don't
you
matter.
know what? When it comes to fantasy, the like you said, Kirk Cousins is up there. That's your boy. That's your boy.
Yeah, no. That's your boy. Okay.
I never heard of him.
Yes, you have.
You like
for
that?
the Washington Commanders. You guys blew him up. You guys put him in the center stage, all right, of the world.
Has
Do you
paid
like
him
that?
like none other.
Paid him
Do
like
you
no
like
other
that,
quarterback should have. There you go.
Do you like that, Andre?
Bones, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Nah. Yo, Sam Howell was a problem.
Hey, if he's getting some confidence there, man. He's getting some
Look at
confidence.
that. You got Andre excited.
I like him. He's
like
reminding me
that defense, that secondary stays tight. Just
Yeah.
mark my words.
Bro, he could be like what Fitzpatrick was to the Jets, bro.
Fitzmagic, baby.
Yeah.
Sam Howell looks like a frat boy that just woke up on Saturday morning, just iced a beer, did a keg stand, and then went to a college football game.
Bro,
with one
y'all got
shoe on
receivers.
with one shoe on.
Yeah. He's an old school guy. He's a slinger. You know what I mean? He's a gunner. And you got receivers. You got Terry. You got Dotson. You got pieces. Logan Thomas
playing well. Dotson
bro,
is, he's
you have a legit tight end, bro. He's
Logan
real legit.
Thomas is balling.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson was shot 47 times and he still runs the ball.
Yeah,
like the man.
Jerry, look what having a losing record does to you, bro. They talking about good receivers out there in Washington, legit tight ends. Look what being 1-5 does to the mind.
I know the delusion out here is ridiculous.
The Commanders are 3-3. Boner, I know you're not good with math.
Drugs,
come on,
kids.
at least look at the numbers.
I can't hear you from this 5-1 plateau, baby. I can't hear you from
the top of the division. Can't hear you from the top of the conference. I can't hear you
from up there. What does that sound like? What? 3 wins, 3 losses? Damn.
I hope the Eagles and Dolphins ends in a tie.
Listen, there will be no such thing, Andre. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up our episode 32 of the Raw Report. Thank you for joining us. Before we get out of here, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, hit us up on Instagram at Raw Fantasy Sports. And good luck to you guys. Midweek, mid-season already, week 7. All right, out of 14 weeks, guys, 50%.
Almost there. Week 8 season now.
Don't let Bones do math at the end of the pod.
I know. We can't let them do any type of math, bro. So good luck this week, guys. Week 7.
I love the hate.
Raw Report.
Raw.
Raw.
Raw.